You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off Day with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. Friday, July 31st, the last day of July. August just around the corner. Thank you guys for joining us here on today's show. A rainy Friday here in the Quad Cities, around the Midwest as well. So a perfect reason, a perfect opportunity to stay inside if you're at work, at home, whatever you're doing, and check out a fun episode of OTA as we wrap up what's been a very, very busy week. A week back from vacation and a very busy week. Give people get a hard time all summer because I haven't worked a full week in a while. This is day number 5, everybody. So take that. 5 great shows this week and one more to get to before we get into the weekend as well. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Make sure you've subscribed to the show. If you have, thank you. If you have not, what are you doing with your lives? Come on, subscribe, tell a friend or 2 or 10 about what we're doing each and every weekday at 10 a.m. right here in the Quad Cities and, of course, around the Midwest as well. So it's been a bunch of fun. Getting near 2 years out of my former gig at WQAD and about over a year and a half of doing this show. So really excited about that and where the show has gone. We're also live on X. X has been very, very good to us. So if you're watching us on X, we appreciate that as well. Stay interactive with us. We have a great YouTube chat going on right now. So make sure you head to YouTube and ask questions, comments, talk sports, whatever you want to do. We have our everydayers in there all the time. And then, of course, tons of guests throughout the day as well. So question, compliment, critique, we're used to those. Jump in and get part of the, or be part, I should say, of the YouTube chat as well. We're also streaming on the WHO Plus streaming app. So welcome to our viewers in Central Iowa. That's almost a year with us doing the partnership with WHO. We appreciate it. We love it. Hour number 1 live right here on WHO Plus app. If you want to keep watching, and we encourage you to do that, head to YouTube and check us out after the first hour of the show as well. And also, you can check out this show and every other show on all of the podcasting platforms as well. So just head to Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Put it Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and you can listen to the show each and every day as well. Instead of looking at me and this, you can listen. Sometimes it's much easier, I think, to listen than to watch. But we appreciate however you take part in the show. We are very, very grateful for that. A big show, a fun show here on a Friday here in the Quad Cities. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk to Sammy Schaub from Rockridge High School, a young man at Rockridge, and we'll get into it in just a minute. Suffered a tragic injury last weekend. He is battling his way back. We'll give his background, and then the entire support community from Rockridge and the around the Quad Cities has been awesome. So we'll give an update on Rockridge's Drew Hawk and talk how you can help out the Hawk family coming up in just a little bit, just a few moments. So excuse me, got something in my throat today. So we'll do that in just a matter of moments. Coming up later here in hour number 1 of the show at 10:30, we'll be joined live by Iowa assistant basketball coach Luke Barnwell. Of course, the Hawkeyes had a fantastic run to the Elite 8 this past season. It has obviously made momentum for the program at an all-time high. It's been a great summer for Iowa. We'll talk to him about the summer workouts, who's impressing, the newcomers, the vibe around the entire program. And then also for him personally, being in Iowa City for an entire year, what it's been like, maybe not just basketball-wise, but off the floor as well and out of Carver Hawkeye Arena and being part of the Iowa community. So really excited to catch up with Luke Barnwell coming up at 10:30 live right here on OTA this morning. And then also, I don't know if you know this, I've warned you guys throughout the week, but this weekend is SummerSlam, a huge event up in Minneapolis. It is the WrestleMania of the summer, if you will. I would say probably the second biggest show that the WWE puts on every year. Obviously, WrestleMania is huge. Royal Rumble has an argument in that as well. But SummerSlam this weekend up in Minnesota. We're going to preview it coming up in hour number 2 with a pair of our experts, Don Umland, and then, of course, Nick Bull from Card Subject to Change. So if you are a wrestling fan, embrace the second hour of the show. Get ready. We're going to have a blast. If you are not a wrestling fan, you have been warned about hour number 2 of the show. I don't want to hear the complaints. I don't want anybody on the chat. I want to talk about wrestling. We're going to talk about wrestling for 40 minutes of the show today. And it's going to be okay. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast for people who like wrestling. If you don't, It's like you get out of school early for the week. You get an early dismissal on a Friday. That's not a bad thing as well. So, but really excited to talk some SummerSlam with those two knuckleheads coming up as well. We mentioned we're back from vacation. It was a busy, fun vacation for me last week. A full week of shows this week, and we've had an absolute blast doing it. On Monday, Pat Angerer led off the week. There's no better way to start a week off than with Patrick Angerer talking Iowa athletics and everything else, from vacations to, I can't even remember what we talked about, just stupidity usually. So Pat Angerer, also Assumption, won a state championship 1 week ago today. A trio of their standouts joined us on Monday as well. And then we talked about Rockridge a little bit. Colin Schweigen, a standout senior to be, or I guess a senior now at Rockridge High School, made his commitment to Western Illinois. We had him on the show on Monday as well. So check out Monday's show if you missed it. It was a blast. One of our best shows of the week, of the month, those kind of things. So go check out Monday. On Tuesday, Kyle Huseman was along with great information as well about Iowa women's basketball. We had the Pleasant Valley baseball team, a quartet of their standouts. They finished second in the state last week as well. Fun interview with him. And then our FCA story of the week with Dan Pearson was on Tuesday this week as well. Wednesday, we had Tom Kakert on the show, Jim Matson and John Marks. Thursday, yesterday's show, really a fun show because we talked a lot about the Cyhawk series extension, a verbal agreement to an extension with Tyler Tashman and then with Jake Brend. We also talked with Larry Hawley, some Chicago sports as well, the Bears training camp, Cubs, and White Sox. So yesterday's show was a lot of fun. Go check out any of the shows that you missed this week as well. I highly encourage it. It was a bunch of fun. And we are set for another big show today for you right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo as well. A few things before we get into the interviews and the meat and potatoes of everything. Do want to mention coming up August 9th. So 1 week from this Sunday, we have our kickoff show for high school football with our buddies from View from the West. We will be live at the Other Bar in Moline, a live show from 4 to 6. We encourage everybody to come on out and join us. A ton of coaches from around the area will be there as well. We'll talk with coaches, some players. You can listen to the show there, speakers and everything. Get some Snoops, chips and salsa. Get some Godfather's Pizza as well. So plan on next Sunday, August 9th, also my birthday. Come on down to the Other Bar and join us for what should be a fun show. Also, August 14th, 2 weeks from today, we'll be live. OTA will be live from Iowa Football Media Day. We'll be at the practice facility at the University of Iowa. We'll do our show live from 2:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. So no morning show a couple weeks from now. We'll do a 2:30 to 4:30. Last year, you named it, from Mark Gronowski to Kirk Ferentz to Yossi Epinesa to local standouts, Kyler Girardi and Nolan DeLong. Had a bunch of fun doing the show. This year should be no different. So really excited about that show. So mark that on your calendar, August 14th for that show as well. Major League Baseball yesterday, Cubs beat the Cardinals in 10 innings. 2 nights ago, it was the Cardinals winning in 10 innings. Yesterday, Cubs win. They take 3 out of 4 out of the rival Redbirds. They're sitting pretty when it comes to the playoff positioning. Still trying to catch the Brewers in the division. Have some work to do in order to do that. But the trade deadline is coming up on August 3rd. So Monday's the trade deadline. And you look at the Cubs and the Cardinals, it's very, very intriguing. You got the Cubs that I feel like need to buy. And especially next year, you have no idea whether they're going to have a season or not, unfortunately. No time like the present. I feel like the Cubs are, obviously they need pitching. I don't need to be a baseball expert to tell you that. So hopefully the Cubs are active and buyers. If I'm the Cardinals, they're rebuilding. I'm still selling. I mean, you're a game below 500. I kind of think they realize this is a rebuilding process. There's no reason you don't continue to rebuild instead of adding and trying to go for it this year. So it'll be fascinating to see what happens at the trade deadline coming up on August 3rd as well. And then we talked about it a little bit at the start of the show. Our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to Drew Hawk and his family. Drew Hawk is a student at Rockridge High School, had a swimming accident last weekend traveling in central Iowa. dove into a pool, hit his head in the bottom, was rushed to a hospital. He's had surgery. He's going to have a long road ahead, but he's continuing to have good updates and better updates as well. You can see logo on your screen there is a design from the junior class on a shirt that you can actually purchase right now to help support monetarily the family, the Hawk family at the Rockridge School District. So obviously heart goes out, prayers, thoughts goes out to the Hawk family. And I wanted to take the opportunity this week with everything going on with it, people wondering about updates and those kind of things. And social media is great for that. But the communities are rallying together. Obviously the Rockridge community, but then so many other communities as well to help the Hawk family out. And I want to do whatever I could to use my goofy little show as maybe a platform to spread the word on some of those things. And that's what we're going to do right off the top here today on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So joining me now to talk more about obviously a unfortunate situation, but obviously one that has the Rockridge community rallying around one of their own. Sammy Schaub joins us right now. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Before we get to the things that Rockridge and the community, and even people outside the community that are reaching out to help are doing, tell us a little bit about. We talked about it for a little bit, but what happened actually to Drew? Obviously, a junior to be at Rockridge and enjoying a great day swimming in Central Iowa when an unfortunate incident happened.
Yes, exactly. So accidents happen all the time. So unfortunately, when he was swimming with friends, having a great time on a super hot Midwestern day, he dove into a pool and ended up having a serious spinal cord injury as a result of that. So, yeah.
And rushed to, got to Des Moines. I know there were storms that night, but got to Des Moines. I know he's had surgery. People have, and social media is sometimes social media is a frustrating thing. I think sometimes social media is a beautiful thing. I think this is one of those places where social media is a beautiful thing because I know the community's been concerned. And we've been getting some updates that way, which is awesome. Can we get like an update on how Drew's doing as of last year?
Yeah, so I just was able to talk to Jerry Lynn last night, and so she gave me a couple updates that are actually super inspiring. And Drew is such a fantastic kid where he is just so determined and headstrong and really, really about to push forward and really wants to get on the move to start moving again. So last night, he was able to lightly squeeze his dad's hand during a conversation, which was super encouraging. So we do celebrate the little victories that are happening all the time. And he was actually able to toss a tiny ball in the room, which is actually pretty cool. So God is great in all these situations, and he knows that. So his personality is just super inspiring and really gung-ho and positive through the unfortunate circumstance that he's given. He's able to eat some pureed foods, but dying to get into some harder foods, but time will tell. So we got to wait for some of the swelling to go down to relieve some pressure on his spine. So
absolutely.
The little victories with the swelling. So once from the surgery starts to go down, we can see a little more feeling and sensation that he's having in his hands and his feet.
And obviously, we should probably preference that spinal cord injury, that the surgery was done, and it sounds like right now there's not a ton of movement from the chest below, but there's hopes. I know, just reading the Facebook posts and stuff, they're very hopeful that returns eventually as well. It seems like regardless of anything, it's going to be a long road whenever you're going through a surgery, more or less a spinal surgery. Kind of talk about that family. I mean, I don't know them personally. My sister and brother-in-law know them more. My son worked with Drew down at the Hitman complex. So there's but I don't know that I know they're a great family. That's everything I hear. Talk about the
They
spirit
are.
of that family, because it seems like and not that you want to see it happen to any family, but this is a family that has that spirit to maybe, battle something like this or get through something like this.
Oh, yes. So their spirit first comes from the Lord. Like, they are such a faith-based family, and it shows with the extreme positivity that is shown through each and every one of them, and their hope of recovery and movement and just getting through the next. So God knows what's happening, and God can foresee everything, and he knows what's going to happen in the future. So they are very hopeful that he will be walking with much rehab and time going through what this is. But this is just going to be a testimony for Drew in the future to help guide others in whatever life gets thrown at you. You get curveballs everywhere. And so this family is going through this time to come out even stronger where they started. So they were already strong to start off with, and they are just they're involved in everything: school, our community, dance, with Drew, and football, and just activities and work. I mean, they're the first ones you want to go to for any advice and help in any situation. They're there to support everybody.
No,
They're there.
It's an amazing thing, and you look at it too. Most kids are getting ready for football season, for school returning. Obviously that changes. You mentioned the Rockridge community. I'm a little biased. I live out here. My wife went to Rockridge. I kind of like a lot of people out in this area. So, but most communities in the Quad Cities are like this. This is a beautiful area that we live in, but Rockridge is a perfect example of it. If there's a community that's going to come and rally around one of their own, it's the Rockridge community. Can you talk about the spirit of it first? We'll get the specifics of what y'all are starting to do and everything, but the community's a supportive, strong community regardless. And you see it in the good times, the state championships, the state runs, those are easy. You see it probably even more so when there's adversity that hits, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And when things happen, good or bad, the community is just so grand that people come out of everywhere. You got your farmers, and we also have fantastic surrounding communities. You mentioned that Mercer County is one, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But they're also doing a fundraiser for us, for Drew and the family. But Rockridge is just so special. I actually never left. Graduated from here. I went to school around here, and I never left because the community is just so, it's a family. Even when you don't know somebody's there to encourage you and to support you and rally behind you. And we show up for every little town that we have in parades and homecomings and just state tournaments. So we have a lot of those. And just everybody comes out to support the young to the old. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. So obviously, and you see it, social media is a thing as well, obviously, and you've seen it all week. I reached out to Brock because this little platform that I have, I wanted to help out as much as possible. And Rockridge is boots to the ground. They're already planning things and doing things. There's some things planned already. Can you take us through some of the things that are just starting when it comes to ways to rally around and help out the Hawk family right now?
Yeah, so first we do have a t-shirt fundraiser that's going through social media right now. It is a t-shirt designed by some of the junior moms. You can find that link, but somebody, of course, has shared it all over Facebook. It's a black t-shirt with a green hawk on it. And those proceeds, of course, will go to benefit Drew and the family. You can order shirts through August 5th, and then t-shirt orders will be delivered to Rockridge, and a email will go out sent by the moms of when to pick those up, so we can wear them for the first home football game. So that's one fundraiser that's happening right now. We also have a local church in Edgington, the Edgington Evangelical Presbyterian Church. They are hosting their annual ice cream social and kids carnival on August 9th from 4 to 7. And they will be selling a bunch of like food and, of course, ice cream. And then they'll have the carnival rides. All proceeds for that one as well will also benefit Hawks and all of their expenses. I sent an email out to our staff at Rockridge, and I'm collecting gift cards. So that's just another thing that we can do. Venmo is also available, but do be aware for scammers. They unfortunately are out there.
Unreal.
But her Venmo has been shared quite a few times. So that also, of course, goes to supporting the family.
No, absolutely.
So that's in, and then I mentioned our surrounding area. Mercer County Youth Football is collecting donations during their youth football camp on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of, I believe, next week. You could do that at Apollo, if the Apollo softball field, if you happen to be around that area in Mercer County. So not only do we have a great community that's within Rockridge School District, but our surrounding communities are fantastic as well. So it's really encouraging to like our area and just the Midwest nice in general.
No, absolutely. And that's the beauty part. They're rivals on the fields, but they're there to help, of course, as well. We'll make sure we put all the links up on all of our social media as well. And we'll continue to pump these things throughout the shows over the next, and they'll continue to pop up. And that's the beauty part, is the more the word gets out, the more things will be done, guaranteed, around the area for the Hawk family, which is an awesome thing as well. Before we let you go, obviously monetarily and it's going to mount up, and it's a long journey ahead. We talked about just their faith as well. That's one thing first and foremost I've done, is I told Brock and the Schweigens, and hey, thoughts and prayers. I know it sounds cliche, but just good thoughts, good vibes, whatever you believe or don't believe or whatever, kind of talk about that, because it's and I know people, they mentioned about visitors. I know on social media it's limited to family, those type of things, but if you know Jerry Lynn and the parents, you can swing by and say whatever. Just kind of talk about, if you don't have the monetarily the money to do certain things, the vibes and prayers are good things, aren't they?
They absolutely are. Just positive words and encouragement, just to get through difficult situations. We've all been there, regardless of how small the situation or incident may be. Everybody has a story. So for them, it's good words and positive outlooks of what is going to happen in the future, and how we can encourage to just persevere through the struggles. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has a perfect life. So as long as there's prayers and thoughts and support through the entire community and everyone else off that, we have prayer chains all over in many different churches to encourage and bring life to the situation. And it's extremely encouraging. So the community, with their support and love, is just so overwhelming for Jerry Lynn and Dacian, that it's heartwarming for everything that they're going through, and how everybody is rallying together for them and to support of their son Drew, to get better through this unfortunate circumstance.
Absolutely. Last one for you, obviously. Community reaching out, adults, teachers, those for the kids themselves. They do have football that's starting up. They have the school season right around the corner. What's it been like? I mean, I don't know how much you're around other kids and those type of things, but I don't know. Like, obviously, you learn in situations like this as a young person that life isn't smooth, and there's always bumps. And how do you approach it in the Rockridge community when it comes to teammates, classmates, friends that are going to get ready to continue to think of him and be supportive of him, but also they start the school year and what do you say to the kids and maybe the other friends of Drew as they get ready to battle this with him?
Again, we go back to positive words and encouragement. Words are life. They can bring life or death, and we choose to bring life in the words that we speak. And so when we talk to kids, it's a reality that we speak of, but an encouragement of how to push forward. Again, how to get through a situation that you need to get through, and you can't do that by yourself. So having kids maybe write letters and send text messages or create funny videos and just keep his spirits uplifted. It's one of those things where children just need the guidance to help get through life. I mean, life is going to happen. So what are we going to do with it? So that's it's again, one of those things where kids are going to ask questions and we can't just not tell them the answer. We can help them get through it and then what to do to get past it. Yeah, schools start here in the next couple weeks. And again, there's going to be lots of questions and how long will we get to see him? And can we talk to him? Will he be there? Well, we don't know those answers yet. So it's a time will tell situation.
Absolutely. Well, we have the Hawk family in our thoughts and prayers. I will make sure to put the word out, the links out, all those kind of things are on social media. So if you're watching this, if you head to any of my social media, we'll put it in the YouTube link as well. So go get a shirt, whether you're going to Bettendorf for a game on Friday or whatever, or if you're at North Scott or wherever, Iowa side, Illinois side, wherever you're watching this, support a great family, help them get back up on their feet. Sammy, anything else that hops up, let me know. We appreciate you taking the time to do this, and best of luck to the Hawk family, and best of luck this school season as well over at Rockridge. I appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you so much for getting the word out. It's appreciated.
You bet. That is Sammy Schaub, over at Rockridge High School. Obviously, as we mentioned, Drew Hawk, his family, in our thoughts and prayers, and we'll keep you updated on how he's doing. We have a huge high school football preview show with the View from the West coming up on August 9th at the other bar in Moline, and I'm going to get with Greg and Mitch, and we're going to put our heads together and maybe figure out a way to help out the Hawk family with that as well on that night. So we'll keep thinking about them, and you get so caught up in football and previews and the season coming and school year coming back. This puts life in perspective a little bit as well. So we're pulling for Drew and wish him the best of luck. Coming up on the show, later on in hour number 2, we're going to talk a bunch of professional wrestling. So if you love professional wrestling, be here in hour 2. But up next, more importantly, we're going to be joined by Iowa assistant basketball coach Luke Barnwell. It's been a fantastic season for Iowa, making it to the Elite Eight. The summer has been interesting and intriguing as always. So Luke Barnwell from the University of Iowa will join us live right after this. You're watching OTA on a busy Friday right here in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Hey, I'm the Crawford guy.
Ooh, do you guys always speak at the same time?
Sorry, guys. I'll go first. You know, if you need help with your heating or air conditioning,
or electrical,
or plumbing, Crawford Company can solve your problem.
But what about your problem?
What problem?
Do you not hear yourselves? Take it from me, the Crawford lady.
And me, the Crawford guy.
Crawford is the comfort company.
For over 65 years, Lindquist Ford has proudly served the Quad Cities, and they're just getting started. Looking for a new ride? Check out a healthy mix of new and quality pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Need service? Skip the waiting room. With free pickup and delivery and mobile service, they come to you. No delays, no hassle. From routine maintenance to a full-service collision repair shop, it's fast, friendly, reliable, and always transparent. Lindquist Ford, serving the Quad Cities since 1959. Experience the difference today.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad Cities' best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. A rainy Friday it is in the Quad Cities as we work our way through the last day of the week. The weekend is right around the corner. Again, we want to thank Sammy Schwab or Schaub for joining us to talk about Luke Hawk. Obviously, a sad situation, but an inspiring one as well, to see the community rally around that family and that young man. So if you can help out in any way, and we'll get out the links to everything we talked about on all of our social media as well. If you can help out in any way, it would be greatly appreciated as well. We are hoping to be joined by assistant basketball coach for the University of Iowa, Luke Barnwell. Technical difficulty right now has me scrambling a little bit, but the hopes are that we get Luke on here in just a matter of moments to talk a little about the Iowa basketball team. Of course, Iowa made it to the Elite Eight this past season, year number 1 under Ben McCollum, and an entirely almost new staff. One guy, Kyle Denning, was the only guy kind of held over from the previous regime. So a new staff, a new system in place, and Iowa saw some great results, especially in March, making it to the Elite Eight. And it's been a fantastic summer so far as well, where you've seen players, you've had some open practices as well, and a lot of good stuff. I'm going to tell Coach, because I can see him down on my screen, turn your phone if you can, if you want to, and we're going to go live to Coach right now. I have never been so happy to see your smiling face right now as we get ready to we'll let Coach adjust the screen and everything. Live podcasting at its finest is what I always say. But we're joined now by the assistant basketball coach at the University of Iowa. Luke Barnwell joins us. Thank you for doing this, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think the firewall ain't letting me use my computer. So.
Well, you're on your phone.
So I'm using my phone. So
look at that. That is resourceful, Coach. That is thinking under pressure. That's what you teach your players to do all the time. So well done as well. So we appreciate that. Thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, it's been a fantastic run for the University of Iowa in the basketball program. Before we get into this year and maybe the summer and what you guys have recently done, can we go back to March? I think you'll want to. Kind of fun. What was that Elite Eight run like for your team, that group, that family there in Iowa City?
The short word is wild. I don't think I think we ultimately always believed that we had a chance to make a run, I think, and the tournament is, I've watched it so long. As a kid, you watch it every year, and as crazy as it is when you're in it, it seems like it happens in 24 hours. But when you watch it, it's a 3 or 4 week stretch, and it feels long and drug out. And it's like, it was 12 days of just, pure excitement and joy, and obviously didn't end the way we wanted it to end, to be honest with you. But it was a heck of a ride.
I know the Sweet 16. For Iowa fans and for you, the new staff, you probably learned it, but that Sweet 16 thing was the thing for 27 years, hadn't been there. Obviously it's the Florida game, and that's the game that got Iowa to the Sweet 16. A familiar team for you. I'm doing a little research. I know obviously you being at Texas Tech the year before, you had familiarity with Texas Tech, with Florida. Can you talk about that game, that Florida game, what it meant for that team, for yourselves, that staff to get over the hump and get to the Sweet 16?
Yeah, it was bizarre because I had this scout the year before, and people might remember, but we were up 8 or 9 with 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the Elite Eight against Florida in San Francisco at Texas Tech. And, you go to the under 4 media there, you feel San Antonio. You're like, oh my gosh, we're right there. And then, Walter Clayton made some shots, and as he did kind of all tournament the year before. So I was extremely familiar with them. We got the draw. To be honest, we were in Feller and we were at selection show, and I saw the draw and I was like, okay, I kind of like that for us. If we got to take care of business the first round. I was really familiar with them, and, hostile environment. We drive the bus to the game, and, we get double birds by other fans and the Gator Chomps. And I think that was actually good for us, though, to be honest, because it gave us the edge. We needed to go, win basically a road game. I thought we actually played with the edge to win the game. I thought we had control of it, and then they did, championship DNA. They made a run, and I still always believed, and I wasn't surprised by it, to be honest with you. Obviously, an exhilarating finish, but I was confident. I actually told my wife the week of the game, I was like, if we can get Clemson, I think we're gonna beat we're gonna beat Florida, and it was guys were great and locked in to get us to the Sweet 16.
I think one of the memories, the pictures we'll remember from that run was after the game in Cooper. And we've had Cooper on the show here several times, but doing the Gator Chomp. And Coop is such a chill kid. He's such a great, polite young man. I truly mean that. He's an awesome. And so to see that from him and asking him here on the show, like, what was that about? And he mentioned the drive into the stadium and the other fans, and you're playing, what was it, 95% Florida fans all around you during that game.
Has to be, yeah.
What was that moment like, and seeing that young man and all your guys, but especially Coop, Coop show a little emotion as well.
He deserved it though, man. We remember the Alvaro shot, like that was a big, obviously, arguably one of the bigger shots in the program history. But how about Coop's jab three at 26 feet? I can't remember, maybe a couple minutes to go when they were making our run, and when they were making their run, and we were stumbling a little bit. I mean, so he made some big plays on both sides of the ball. And so honestly though, Coop's got a lot of burning passion and competitiveness inside of him that, came out, and he's a competitive kid, and he wants to win, and he was huge for us down the stretch of the year in the NCAA tournament, and specifically that game. So I wasn't surprised by that, to be honest. Knowing him and knowing how competitive he is, and shoot, when you trust me, when you're on that bus and you see all those Gator chomps and those middle fingers, you don't forget it.
We'll talk about one more game in the Nebraska game. Obviously, from your face, a team you'd played twice already. To be in that battle and to see you guys respond like that, it felt like, and I know Illinois game, and especially here in the Quad Cities, that Illinois game was bigger than life. But I know that game didn't finish the way you wanted. But you look at that Nebraska game, and it almost felt like Iowa was getting to the point. You guys were getting to the point where it just felt like the team was going to find a way to win, and that's what it did against Nebraska as well. Talk about your guys against Nebraska and obviously continuing that magical run.
Yeah, I mean, the best part for us, when you get in the NCAA tournament, typically you're playing people you've never seen before, and thankfully, the game before, my close encounter with Florida the year before, and then you get Nebraska, it's like, well, we played them. I can't remember, but it was the last regular season game of the year. So we had just played them. I felt like we were confident going into the game, knowing we had beat them at home and knowing we took them to overtime at their place, and honestly didn't play great at their place. And so we were confident. Now they were really good early. Felt like it was a 3-point shootout for a while. Both teams shot extremely well. And it just was one of those games, if you remember, they'd get up 8-10, 6-8-10, whatever it was, and then we'd claw back in and tie it. And then they'd get back up 8 and we'd claw back in and tie it. And it was like, in my mind, the whole second half, I thought if we could take a lead, I felt like we could break them, and I feel like it was maybe a Bennett 3 off of rotation with a couple minutes to go that gave us our first, hey, we got control of the game. And then once we got that, we gripped hold of the game. We didn't let go, and a lot of guys made big plays, and I think we were very fortunate to play somebody that you didn't have a crazy prep for. You knew them. Our travel home from Florida was bizarre that Monday, and we had to turn around and go to Houston and play. It was quick. Thankfully, it was somebody we knew. It doesn't mean it was easy, but it made the preparation and it gave our guys confidence, to be honest.
Absolutely. Luke Barnwell joining us on Off There with Matt Randazzo. I want to talk about the effects of March two different ways. One is with the fan base and the excitement around the program, and the other was with your guys. And I'm going to start with your guys because we've had Tate Sage has been on the show. Coop's been on too much, probably. He's the best. And they're fired up about it. They're not content. And so while we'll talk about the fan base in a second, the fan base is like enjoying it. It seems like to me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, the players have used it almost as motivation. While fans may be like excited and content that it happened, it seems like the guys that are coming back use the fact that they didn't win the whole dang thing as motivation this year. Can you talk to what it's done for your program inside that locker room?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime, when you try to build a culture that Coach McCollum tries to build, um, when you're in it every day, the everybody has cliche sayings, the work is the win. Like we try to live it and not say it. We don't talk about winning championships much. We just try to win a championship every day. And that's cliche saying. How many times you see a guy say that in a press conference? But like we try to live it instead of talk about it. And um, to me, anytime that like you get kids to believe that and buy into that, that's what happens. And then now that we've had some marginal success in March, I think it turns your conviction and belief into like, okay, this stuff actually, the difficult things we do on a daily basis, how hard we practice, how hard we lift in the weight room, our summers, it actually does prepare you for success at the highest level. And so I think when you feel the success and then your belief and buy-in is already there, I think it goes even through the roof with the guys coming back. And thankfully, you know, who's in our program, we bring back, 10 guys off a team that makes an Elite Eight and they feel some success and see some success. And so you can see their belief and buy-in go even more into this, into your point. I think they're fired up about the opportunity to not get where we got, to have a better regular season, to put ourselves in position to keep it going and try to win a championship. But to be honest, it's not anything we've talked about. It's the same approach. It's this summer we've been back in the gym trying to get better and trying to win each day. And it's nothing we talk about, but you can definitely feel their belief and buy into what's happening.
On the other side of things, it's obviously effect on fans, on energy, on excitement around the program, tickets, all of those kind of things. Have you seen that? Have you seen the energy? And you could tell when you guys got to town, when Coach McCollum and you guys, the staff, got to town, you reached out. I mean, you reached out to Iowa fans. There wasn't an excitement. Boy, that look, it's amazing what wins in March will do, right? Like it went from like exciting to like. Have you felt that? What's that been like around fans, but also maybe potential Hawkeyes and this summer recruiting and those type of things? What has the March run done when it comes to opening doors in that area as well?
I mean, I think everywhere is the same in the sense like you have to earn people's respect. That's real in life, anywhere you're at. And I think there was excitement about what about Coach getting here and starting something fresh and something new. Um, and probably some, if we were honest, some uncertainty of like, some games where we probably didn't play the way we would want to play and didn't have the result we would have wanted. But I do think I believe we earned some respect throughout the year, how well we competed in some of the games. I mean, we take Michigan to the wire at home at the end of the year, beat Nebraska at home. And like there's games that we felt like we let slip that we shouldn't have. At Iowa State, we had control of the game. And you start to kind of earn their respect and you could see the excitement in Carver as the year finished. And then obviously I think winning those games in March and getting to the Elite Eight helps. And I mean, I was in Moline. I took my daughter to the zoo there
Cool.
in between summer one and summer two. And I was like standing in Chick-fil-A in line, and I had nothing Iowa on other than a hat. And the guy was like, "Hey, you're a coach, right?" And I was like, "Well, you can kind of see. You can see. I mean, I'm not even in Iowa City, and somebody recognized what's
Sure.
going on, and it's cool. And I think people are excited about it. And we're still a ways away from November, but there is some real buzz, and there was you could feel it last year, but it's a different level this year with success. And then I mean, I think anytime you're recruiting people and you're trying to get them to become Hawkeyes, and you talk about the things that you want your program to emulate and be, to back it up with results on the biggest stage, I think changes the perception of, oh wow, this is a spot we would want to consider and go to, and we can do it here. So now we've got to go hammer it home here with a few guys. But I do think that those games when you're on center stage and there's only 16 teams left and 8 teams left, all eyes are on you at that point. And it helps you sell what you're trying to build.
Luke Barnwell joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Good call on the Chick-fil-A. Love the Moline Chick-fil-A. That's my place. So well done, Coach.
Yeah.
And the zoo's good, isn't it? It's a good zoo
Yeah,
for the. Isn't it?
Yeah, my daughter's 2, so I mean, we could go see a couple squirrels and she'd be happy. But yeah, the train ride, and she had the time of her life. She
I
had
love
the
it.
time of her life.
I love it. Basketball wise in Iowa City, it's been a busy summer. Obviously, you're getting after it, getting some work done. I want to ask you about some players because I think Tate's been on the show, and obviously the way he progressed last year and his story's fantastic. And he seemed like he was playing with a ton of confidence. And he was on our show and I said, what are you most excited about showing the fans in year number 2, like your sophomore year? And he's like, I'm used to having the ball in my hands. I'm used to being a point guard. I'm used to, not point guard per se, but like in high school, he had the ball a lot. He's like, I'm excited to see that. And then we get to go in as the media for a little bit and we like what we see from, I want to start with Tate. Like, what have you guys seen from him this offseason? And there's obviously another level. How many levels are left with this young man? Already impressed with what he does as a freshman. There's more to him, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think to his credit, what he did for us last year was he figured out a way to help our team win. And that didn't involve probably the usage that he was used to in high school, as you mentioned, but like he helped our team win. He spaced the floor. He made catch and shoots. He's an unbelievable cutter. He has great feel for the game. He helped us win. And that's going to look different. He's going to help our team win this year, but that's going to look different because that's ultimately what Tate's always done. He won a state championship. He knows what winning looks like, and guys that know how to win end up finding ways to help your team win. It seems like an easy concept to understand, but for kids with a lot of pressure and expectations as they come into a situation in Power 5 basketball, like it's not. And to his credit, he figured that out, and we know obviously 14 isn't in the jersey anymore, and so there's going to have to be some guys that take big steps forward, and we're going to expect more out of Tate, and we're going to expect to have his usage to go up, and I think he has confidence. You talked about Coop having confidence coming into the year. I think Tate has confidence coming into the year, and I think there'll be some adjustment to the usage going up and him having to figure out when to be aggressive to score and when to get off of it and when to get teammates involved. And that's gonna have to play through, and he's gonna have to fail, and he's gonna have to succeed, and he's gonna have to fail, and he's gonna have to succeed. But ultimately, what you trust in Tate is he knows what winning looks like and cares about winning first. And he's a high character kid, and he cares about his teammates. And so you can work with that base and know that it's gonna grow as he gets older.
I think one of the things I thought was funny, the second media practice, a lot of the media was like, Cooper Koch was the best player out there. Cooper Koch was the best player out there. And I think it's almost, Coop's kind of been pigeonholed maybe a little bit as just a guy who can shoot it. What has he done this offseason? Because again, that's another guy that I think that has a lot of layers left in him. How has his summer been? And not that it's a new look, Cooper, but after the injuries and stuff he dealt with early in his career, it seems like he's hitting his stride right now as well.
Yeah, he's been so impressive from a mindset standpoint. Shocking to Hawkeye Nation, our summers are difficult. I mean, I'm say that sarcastically. We work, man. We get in the weight room and we get after it. Our conditioning is no joke. Our practices are good, are always fun and competitive. But the weight room and the conditioning part is not easy. And to me, the most impressive thing that Coop's done is like his mentality to attack those workouts, and not only attack them but try to dominate them. That's a change, and that to me is a mentality. And that's carried onto the floor, of course, because the confidence that he's playing with, and then like he did same thing that I said about Tate, like Coop's intelligence defensively, when we could change coverages based on who he was guarding, based on all his IQ and feel for the game defensively, actually was important for our team last year. And that's why we could play him so much, because he could be versatile. And then obviously the shooting and the floor spacing was obvious. But ultimately it goes back to what the Coop knew how to help our team win games. And I think that is going to look different this year. Doesn't mean he's not going to be, the same thing that we valued in him defensively. Doesn't mean he's not going to shoot, catch, and shoots. But we're obviously know we got to find a way to win games without Bennett. And I think Coop knows that he's going to have to be more aggressive. And I think Coop is going to help us win in different ways. And he's been very impressive. From like I said before, the mindset and the competitiveness, and that's what you love about him, because you can get you like you said, he's a catch and shoot guy, whatever. But like, man, that dude's competitive, man. And that's what's been really fun to see him, go from one level to another level this summer.
4 new faces in Iowa City, 2 transfers, two freshmen. What newcomers have stood out to you the most? Whether it be the transfer 2 or the all 4 maybe. What have you seen from the newcomers that you've liked so far?
Yeah, and honestly, in all their defense, when you bring back 10, 11, like we're starting on second base, maybe even third base because of the amount of reps that they've had for a year. And so, those guys, we don't know the best version of them for another month or 2, in my opinion, because the returners have such a good feel for our system, have such a good feel for our defensive requirements and things that we demand on a daily basis. And so, in their defense, they might not have looked as good in the summer, and to me that's okay, because it does take time. The things that we do aren't. It's complex, but once you get the hang of it, I think that it just takes time. So, you've seen stretches where Andrew has figured out. We're figuring out how to use a guy like that. One, he's so stinking big that you can play different with him. And then Tyreek is more downhill and athletic, and he needs more space to create. And so they're learning our system, but our guys are learning how to play with them. And honestly, Jaden's been really impressive because Jaden Kuhn, you can give him similar to a Tate, you can give him a few things to concentrate on, and athletically he's a game changer athletically. And the things that he can do, it's really simple. So he can excel in something very simple in a small role. And then Ethan, honestly, his ceiling is extremely high. Extremely high. And in his defense, it's he's learning a lot. And so he might not, those open practice, he might not look as good, but stack another month, like that kid's got a chance to be special. His energy and his life, his presence, that's a tough kid, and he fits us very, very well.
Absolutely. Luke Barnwell joining us on Off There with Matt Randazzo. Luke, you mentioned Andrew McKeever. Is he as big as he looks, as he seems? 7'3" is different. I know that. And where does he fit?
Different.
Because I know he likes to pass it a little bit, those kind of things. How does he fit? And what you guys want to do offensively, but also defensively as well. You looked around the Big Ten last year, and you looked at Michigan, and they had huge size. You go down to Illinois and they have like 18 7-footers down there. Talk about his size, and that's going to help you maybe more defensively than offensively as well.
He's bigger than you think. He's bigger than advertised. 7'3", 290. I mean, he's massive. When he was on his visit, he was eating with his fork, and I look like my daughter's little mini fork in his hands. His hands are massive. But yeah, I mean, the thing that, like, obviously, we're pretty transparent. We lose a game in the Elite Eight. We gave up 18 offensive rebounds, and like obviously Andrew addresses that from one, just a sheer size standpoint. But he's so big, he just gobbles up rebounds because he's so big. I mean, his catch radius, his arm radius. That's what we instantly knew, and then we also knew he does have feel for the game and he can pass. So then, how do you put that into what we do to get the most out of it? How do we take advantage of 7'3", 290 at the front of the rim, where we necessarily didn't have that last year? And so we're learning how do we get him easy baskets, because at that size you can get easy baskets around the rim, and then also take advantage of his ability to process the floor and read and pass. And so those are the things we love. But yeah, to your point, defensively and rebounding, walking in the door, he's going to improve that because of God-given 7'3" and his real size. So excited about that ability to be able to go match up with some of those guys in our conference that are back.
Another guy with size is Trevor Nurok, and it seems like he's done what I need to do, Coach. I need to quit going to Chick-fil-A so much and transform my body a little bit as well. And he can shoot it a little bit. And we've heard reports that, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything. Don't give me any secrets, but can we see Trevin and Andrew on the floor at the same time because of the fact that one, he can shoot it a little bit and be good around the perimeter? They both seem to be good passers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely. I think, everything's on the table at this point in the summer, and we played them together a little bit in practices, and you can see like in a half court segment, you're like, okay, that can make sense because he can stretch and he can pass, and Trev's his ability to get to the next action and process the defense and move the ball and he's a really fast thinker. And to your point, he's lost weight. His weight actually hasn't changed a ton. He's just more muscular and he's moving better and he's doing things that we thought he could do. And so, yeah, there's a scenario those two could play together because he can space. And then there's a scenario where he's maybe a skilled stretch five too. So that's the thing with him is he allows you to be versatile and you can make him you can make him a decision maker at times and you can make him just a spacer and a stretcher too. So that's his versatility is going to be important for us.
Yeah, my weight hasn't changed and it's no more muscle, Coach, when it comes to that. One more about a player and then I'll wrap up and get you out of here. But Trey Thompson is I think intriguing to everyone around the program fan wise. Obviously redshirted last year. What does he bring to the floor? What have you guys seen from him? And I think he's somebody that Iowa fans are excited about as we get ready for next season.
Yeah, I think there's practices where he'll bang a few threes and it's like you look up at the score and it's like, man, that's the difference in the game. And so the floor spacing, his ability to make threes, I mean, when he shoots it, it goes in. That's a good thing. So, a guy like Andrew, when you can play a guy that big, it's going to draw attention. And so you need to put, maybe another floor spacer, a guy that can catch and shoot. And that's where Trey's value is right now. And he's still growing and having to improve in other areas of the game. But I mean, there's like I said before, there's been a couple practices where he's hit a few threes in a 5-minute segment, and that breaks the game open. And so there's definitely possibilities in his development and his growth. But the shooting is real and it goes in.
Before I let you go, you're in Iowa City now. You love the Iowa fan base. You can tell families there, that kind of thing. Can you go back? I don't want to say a year ago because you guys have been on campus for a little bit, but literally more than a year ago as you came to Iowa City. What's this been like for yourself, your family, outside of basketball, the community of Iowa, the Iowa City area? What's it been like for you with a young family and a kiddo and all that kind of stuff as well?
It's been a while. My wife and I have been married just over 3 years. We've lived in 3 different homes, 3 different states, and we have two baby girls,
wow.
2-year-old and a 12-week-old now. So
wow.
we've been busy. We've been busy. Sleep has been few and far between since May when we had our second. Honestly, we're both from Kansas. She's from West Kansas, and I'm from Emporia. That's how I know Coach McCollum. I played for him at Emporia State. Iowa people and Kansas people are very similar, very welcoming. We found a home. Our neighbors have been phenomenal. Across the street, a retired lady comes over and helps, and our next door neighbor has 3 little ones, and our daughter loves to go play outside with them every day. And we've been very blessed from that regard. It's a college town. It's just Hawkeyes everywhere. It's fun to be a part of what we're doing. Honestly, I had never, if I was being truthful with everybody, when I took the job because of Coach and the staff. I've known him forever. Honestly never been in Iowa, never been east of Des Moines. I've been in Des Moines plenty of times, basketball. And so I had no idea. I was coming from Lubbock. Obviously, Lubbock is pretty flat and pretty dry. Did not know that the river runs down the middle of our campus. Like it's a beautiful place. There's green grass and trees, and we're really blessed. We love being here, and the people all those things about living, but the people are the best, honestly. And feels like home. Like it feels like Kansas. It feels a lot like home.
So 2 girls?
2 girls.
I got 4
2
boys. With 2 girls, that means y'all aren't done yet, right?
I don't know.
No comment.
With what we do and how much I travel, and all that, it's a lot on my wife. She's a saint.
Yeah.
She deserves every medal and every award there could be given.
Good boy.
You know, in July when we have a 7-week-old, 8-week-old, and I'm out recruiting, and then the 2-year-olds, you know,
2.
she loves her mom, and so she's 2. The terrible 2s are real. She's a sweetheart, but she loves her mom. So we got our hands full with 2. I don't know if there's going to be a 3rd. Lord will tell us what to do with that. But yeah, I'm outnumbered. I'm 3-1. So
hey, if you want a boy, you can have one of mine. If you want a boy, just let me, I made extras.
How old are yours?
Mine are 16, 14, 11, and 9. And Coach, listen to this. A few weeks ago, we had a weekend. We had 28 sporting events, 15 baseball games, and 8 basketball games between Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So
that is crazy.
So I feel like you should be at home.
But you know the 2. You know the 2. You know 2 with a 2-year gap.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now.
And you know what?
That's tough.
I know it's crazy, and like sleep is limited. I'd go back and do it in a minute. It's so much like to sit there and see them at those ages. Now they're just brats. I love them, and they could probably hear me downstairs. But now they're just brats. It's great. Coach, last one for you. Ben McCullum seems like, how do I say this? And this is all nice. He is always going. He's competitive. He's wired, I think, differently than a lot of other people. As somebody that's on his staff, are y'all wired the same way? Like, is there a competitive, like hardworking, do you have to all kind of be that way? Or is he just different level when it comes to that kind of stuff in a nice way, obviously?
I mean, yeah, that's the greatest thing about Coach. I was a freshman, he was an assistant at Emporia State. His best gift to me, obviously, there's a lot of gifts that he has, but like his ability to make you do difficult things, but somehow you end up enjoying it and wanting to do more. That's one of his greatest gifts. And I felt that as a 18-year-old kid, 18 years ago. And so when, that's kind of the expectation, but who he's hired, we've all kind of come up at this level our own separate ways through, nobody's really been silver spoon to this level. So we're all pretty much, I used to drive the bus at Sunrise and coach games. So he used to drive the bus for us when he was an assistant at a D2. And everybody's kind of come up from different paths that aren't typical at our level. And I think that's what makes us as great, is that we are willing to, nobody's above anything. We're all willing to get our hands dirty and do whatever it takes for us to win. We all work together. And his mind is always churning. And it's challenged me to have my mind always churning on the boxes here. And sometimes he thinks way over there. It's honestly, it's exciting to be challenged that way, to think different, to find new ways to be creative, to be great. And I'm honestly, it's so fun to be a part of his staff, but yet he's a normal human being. That's the coolest part about him, is he's a normal guy. He can sit down and talk to you like, he's not the head coach at Iowa, which is cool. So.
No, it's amazing. You guys have fit in fantastic. I appreciate you taking the time. Great. You get the assist on the technology. Well done with that as well. Troubleshooting on the fly.
I don't know what the firewall thing is. Yeah, I guess that's maybe what it was. I apologize about that.
No, not at all. Not at all. I appreciate you hopping on. Best of luck next season. We'll catch up soon. Go home, get a nap. It's probably nap time here soon. Take a nap with the kids. That's always smart.
I need one. It was 2 a.m. and 5:30 this morning, so we got after it this morning.
All right.
So well, those troubles.
Yeah, quit wasting your time with me. Go home, take a nap. We'll talk to you soon.
You're
Thanks,
good.
Coach. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Yep.
All right. That is Luke Barnwell, the assistant coach, one of the assistant coaches over at the University of Iowa. Fantastic conversation, and yeah, it's great to get the insight when it comes to this summer, and he mentioned that it's not summertime. These guys are working hard, and I think getting some perspective on some guys coming back as well as those new guys, always great to hear for Iowa fans out there as well. We got more to get to on the show. Coming up in just a little bit after this break, we will have a SummerSlam preview. So we go from the University of Iowa and the basketball program that made the Elite Eight to talking some wrestling, and we're going to do it next right here on OTA. We will be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. It's a big weekend if you're a professional wrestling fan. And if you're anyone who's watched the show in the past, we talk about professional wrestling. I love it. I got buddies that love it as well. I warn you and tell you, hey, when we get ready for big events, whether it's WrestleMania or SummerSlam this weekend, we're going to talk wrestling here on the show. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We're previewing WrestleMania with two of our experts when it comes to professional wrestling around the area. The one and only, is it Cowboy Don Umland? Is that what you're going with today?
This is my homage for Brock.
My homage for Brock. I love it. And Nick Bull joining us as well from Card Subject to Change podcast. Bully, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Made it through the long work week, and after we get done here with Off the Air with Randazzo, jumping in the car, and we're going to SummerSlam. We're hitting the road on both days, so we're excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I'll start with you with that. Obviously, these weekends are fun, and when they're a 2-day event like WrestleMania or SummerSlam, they're even more fun to get to go. And obviously, it's a Minnesota location, so it's up in Minneapolis. It's an easier trip. Take me through the thought process of going. Is it one of those things where it was announced and you're like, I'm definitely going, or obviously, and Don went to WrestleMania. I'm the only one that can't afford. I don't know what you guys do for a living, man, but I'm the only one who can't afford a weekend of wrestling. But obviously, it's great to get up to Minnesota, Bully.
Yeah, for sure. I think when it was announced, it was kind of like, okay, this is the plan. I've got a friend, like I told you before we went on the air, that I'm staying at for free. I mean, that's a big part of it, finding a place real cheap or for free to stay at for a few days while you're up there. But yeah, ever since this was announced, it was kind of like, okay, it's go time. And then about a month and a half ago, we waited out to buy tickets and got a real good deal on floor seats for both nights. And boom, here we are. And, besides, the SummerSlam events, as you guys know, there's WrestleCon going on and the WWE World thing going on. So a lot going on besides SummerSlam. So a wrestling filled weekend for sure.
No, that's awesome. And you look at it too, and you mentioned, Bully, great job with patience. That's one thing that's been talked about is our tickets selling? Are there enough tickets selling? I think there's going to be plenty of people in Minnesota. I think the crowds are going to be fine. But you mentioned you're probably patient, and I have noticed, I do know that tickets have come down in prices, which is one thing that I think wrestling fans in TKO don't see eye to eye on. But good patience with that as well. Don, I want to, before we get into the card itself and kind of break down some matches, going into SummerSlam, and I love the card on paper. It looks really good. I'm excited about it. I'm a storytelling guy. So while I think it's a good card, part of me feels like it was thrown together, or they got to where they needed to get to. And it's a great card. But again, I'm a storytelling guy that make it make sense kind of guy. Where are you at when it comes to this SummerSlam card, the way it looks overall, and was it thrown together, those type of things?
I think it's actually was a kind of somewhat put together card. What kind of turns me off the most, Matt, is, I mean, for a month, it seems like when we watch Raw and SmackDown, we get so many video packages regurgitating, like leading to SummerSlam, and it's like we're a month out, and yet we got to watch this and this and this over and over and over. And some of the online complaints have been, you're at these shows, and it's like more packages than wrestling. So to me, I think they had the plan made, and they kind of shoved it down our throats a lot. And I don't know if that's try to get ticket sales up, but it was kind of a turnoff for me. So I think they had it planned. I just not sure it was executed the best.
We'll look at the cards, obviously, but I mean, Baron Corbin and Trick Williams. Baron Corbin just got back, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and now he's at SummerSlam for a title. Story. I know you can go back in their history and those type of things. Bully, your thoughts of the card in general? Obviously, it's a great card on paper. You can't complain as a fan on paper, but did it get us there in the right way?
I mean, I see what you mean. Like, I'm a big fan of the storytelling too, and I think this card has storytelling, and this card also has thrown together. But you're going to get that with the 2 nights events. That's what comes with that now. That's, we could have an 8-match show wrapped up nice in one night, and I'd be fine with that too. But when you get 2 nights, I guess you get more wrestling, so you got to have more filler. I don't like it as well. Like the 5 women interim ladder match. Why are we going the interim route? We've never done it before. Why now? I understand, or 5 or 6 women. It gets more women on the card. It gets more people on the card. I get that. It stinks that Rhea Ripley's hurt. I was really looking forward to seeing her live, but there is thrown together, like you said, with Trick Williams and Baron Corbin. But there's also Penta and Chad Gable that has roots with the Lucha going back, how Chad Gable hated Lucha, and now he's got a respect for him. And it's kind of Chad Gable's redemption tour. That's got story. Brock and Oba's got story. Roman and Seth's got story. Cody and Punk. So there's plenty of story there. But I think to get your story, you got to have some filler, unfortunately, and there's some filler there too.
Don, you left WrestleMania. You were out there, and I think one of the final nights, I think night 1's final night was Randy kicking Cody in the head, and then night 2 finishes with a fantastic match. If you go back to WrestleMania where you were, because I don't get to go places. Bully gets to go to SummerSlam. You get to go to WrestleMania. I don't go anywhere. And did the transition? If I would have told you, here we are at SummerSlam after WrestleMania, and this is the card, are you happy with where things are? I mean, I go back and I look at the kick, and like Randy, we haven't seen Randy since. I think there's some things out there percolating. I don't know if that's one of them. Going from WrestleMania to SummerSlam, is this a good place to be as a wrestling fan watching how things developed over the last couple months?
I think overall, I think we're excited about selected things. I think Minneapolis, obviously has some great tie-ins because Chad Gable's from there, so that story's going to conclude. Are we seeing Brock Lesnar's last match? Indicators might say that this, that if you're going to do it, you're going to do it in your hometown. So I think the things leading up out of Mania to Slam are appropriate, which I guess surprises me a little bit because Bully touched on it. I thought the sales would be through the roof for Minneapolis for U.S. Bank in this show, and the fact that they're down just kind of surprises me, to be honest. I think the card has enough. You think people would be flocking to go. So I don't know.
Bully, do you, and we'll talk finally about that. We'll get in the card in a second, but going to Minnesota, I think the crowds will always be better than what I think I heard a couple weeks ago that there was 9,000 tickets sold to Madison Square Garden, and then you watched the Raw at Madison Square Garden, and it was packed, and I think they were real close to a sellout. So I think those are somewhat exaggerated, maybe a couple weeks ahead of time. Do you feel like the excitement's there? What are your expectations as you go up there? And is Minnesota a destination place? Is there enough wrestling fans around the Minnesota area in the Midwest to get, 60,000 people back-to-back nights? Sometimes people look at it as, I'll take a vacation to New Orleans or Vegas and then also watch wrestling. Is Minnesota enough of a destination place to say, hey, I'm going to take my summer vacation, God bless Minnesota, to Minneapolis and St. Paul?
I mean, normally I'd say no with the weather, but I mean, it is today. It is this weekend with wrestling. I mean, we normally don't get a big event this close to where we are here in the Midwest. I mean, SummerSlam was in Detroit a few years ago. That's 7 hours away, but we're not going to get a WrestleMania probably ever in Chicago again. We're not going to get one here in the Midwest. So it does become a destination thing for me. Now, the ticket sales, I don't care if 15 people show up, less people to fight through. I mean, I'm going to have fun. I think it's set up for less seating than a regular stadium show. So I think that's an indicator of why maybe tickets aren't as big as they were. I'm not trying to make excuses for WWE. Trust me. They've got plenty of issues, them and TKO. But I think it's going to be, I think the excitement's there. I think the people, Don knows this from WrestleMania. Was the build of WrestleMania as good as it has been in the past? Maybe not, but you were there. You were on the ground. You felt the excitement. And, when you're in that environment, I think you feel and hear that people care. It turns things up. So I'm not really worried about the ticket sales, to be honest. I hope more people stay home. More room for me, right?
There you go. I love it. Nick Bull and Don Umland joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Looking ahead to SummerSlam this weekend, Bully's going up to Minnesota. I want to look at. Let's start with day one, night one, if you will, and it's a Saturday night card. And you look at the card that's on there, and I want to go through each of you guys, and I guess I want to start with overall strengths of cards, because Bully and I kind of talked about it when we started. And I'll ask Don. Night one, night two, if you could go to one, if you just look at the cards in general, which night is the better night when you have to pick one or the other? Donnie?
Bully, I'll let you go first.
Okay.
Night one is clearly, in my opinion, the more loaded card of the two. I think I told you before we went on the air, Matt, and I'll tell Don now, I think they did that on purpose. When I see the heavy hitters of Brock and Oba, Hell in a Cell, and Cody and Punk, and Gunther and Aldis, which I think is going to be a really good match. Maybe the low-key match of the weekend on these two shows. But that's front-loaded. That tells me something big's happening Sunday night. They're saving up. They're having all this stuff kind of happen on the first night to get us to somewhere on night two with the ending of the show. What's that mean? Somebody showing up, snaring down, confrontation, probably. But I think when I saw the cards and how they stacked up night to night, that's the first thing I thought of. This is front-loaded, and we're making room for something big on night two.
I always feel like Sunday night's supposed to be the better night. I know they're supposed to be equal and two main events and those type of things. Don, Sunday's card, I think I agree with Bully in general, doesn't seem as strong as Saturday night's card. Your thoughts on how they balance things out?
I think Bully is correct. I think Saturday's got 4 really great matches, that building to, but I think Sunday builds towards something with Roman and and Seth, and it's out of Saturday. I'm not sure what that will be, but I do think obviously if you're going to build towards a conclusion, it's going to be something on Saturday carries into Sunday. And there's some good matches obviously on Sunday, but I think that Saturday card is the one. If I had to pick one night of the two, that's the night I'm going.
All right, well, let's kind of break these two down. I want to go with best match and most intriguing match. We're going to start with best match, and we'll start with night one. When you look at this card, Bully, and you have to pick the best match, doesn't mean it's the most best wrestling match out there. What are you looking forward to the most when it comes to the match that'll steal the show?
The match that's going to steal the show is going to be the Hell in a Cell. I mean, you've got possibly Brock Lesnar's last match in the company. Everything you read behind the scenes, Brock loves Oba. He's trying to teach him, pass on everything to him that he knows. And Brock kind of sticking around. You know, we saw the retirement at WrestleMania. I think the breach of contract, he wanted to quit, and they're like, nah, you got a few more left. And I think it's his mission now to make Oba Femi the biggest star in the company. And that's going to happen Saturday night. I'm most looking forward to those two just beating the crap out of each other. Low key, Gunther Aldis might steal the show. I know a lot of people might not be familiar with Nick Aldis. He's a former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. He's wrestled in TNA as the name Magnus. The guy is in great shape. And I think he's going to go out there and turn a lot of heads.
No, I would agree. Going back to the Hell in the Cell, and it happened at WrestleMania. Can they do something where if it is Brock's match in his hometown, et cetera, can they get away with the same thing he did at WrestleMania? Will anybody buy it, believe it? Will they think it's the same thing? Will they think it's different? Can they do the special moment that happened at WrestleMania at SummerSlam this weekend?
That's a great question, because I honestly don't think you can. Like, you did it on the biggest stage. I mean, you got to kind of do something different if you are retiring. Like, and I don't know what you do. I don't know. Like, at WrestleMania, it was the perfect moment. Like, I'm sure Don will tell you, he experienced it firsthand. Like, everybody was in awe when that was going down. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that happening. So to have that happen, I don't think you can duplicate that no matter the situation. So if it is his last match, very interested to see how he kind of gets on the horse and rides into the sunset.
Donnie, give me the best match of night one here in the SummerSlam card. You see it over in the on your screen right now, just so people know. It's Punk, Cody, the Hell in the Cell we're talking about, which is Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. You got Liv and Io for the women's championship. You have Gunther versus Nick Aldis, which I agree with Bully, and we'll talk about that in a little more in a second. Is going to be a fascinating match. And then you got a pair of 6-man tags that, in my opinion, were kind of thrown together. Yes, there's background and storyline, but it's kind of a way to get more people. I'm not a 6-man tag guy. Anyways, Don, what's the best match of night one?
You know, I think I look at this. I think the best match is probably going to be Gunther and Aldis on that night. Though I do think Liv and Io are going to they will put up a really, really good match. I think we're going to have a lot of feature there. You talk about moments, and Bully was mentioned, what could you do to top for Oba and in that match? I'll throw something out there that I'm kind of pondering could happen. Could we get a Paul Heyman low blow heel turn, and at the end of the night he's standing side by side with Oba? If that happens, you've got an oh shit moment that you will remember for a long, long time. And it's not like we haven't seen Paul Heyman do that before, discard his old his old garbage and move to the new toy. And if that happens, it's going to be crazy.
It's funny you mentioned that, because it was the Raw before WrestleMania, and we're watching it down in the basement. Actually, Owen Freeman, who's a big wrestling fan of it, knows right, where it was down watching wrestling with me and the boys and Tom Kakert, and I said, does Oba Femi, and I didn't know at that point, I go, does he need a guy? You know what I mean? Does he need a guy? Does he need a mouthpiece, if you will? And then he cut a fantastic promo. I don't know if you guys remember the Monday before WrestleMania. And I looked at the guys. I'm like, they doesn't need a guy. So I'm intrigued by that, because for a while I thought he needed maybe a Paul Heyman or something like that too. And Paul's great with anybody, so he's going to give you that rub and that. But I don't know if he's needed or not. That's an intriguing thing as well. While we have this up here, Don, most intriguing matchup. So obviously there's the best matchup. What's the most intriguing matchup coming up on Saturday? Maybe a sleeper.
I think it's got to be Gunther Aldis, because you've got the GM facing, this legend killer. story. Intriguing. Since we haven't even touched on it on night one, if you're going to give something intriguing about Punk and Cody, is it time for Cody to make that heel turn? You know, we've seen Stone Cold do it at one moment when he would said, "I got to beat you, Rock," and you know he got help from Vince. I don't know if we can see Cody going to that length, but we've seen images of him teetering on it. Or is he going to maintain the John Cena motif and just be the good guy all the way through? But if you want to tease something out there, you know, maybe we get a little bit of sight of that. So, but I'll still go with the Aldis match as the most intriguing on paper right now.
Bully, I want to go back to you with the Aldis thing because I am intrigued by Nick Aldis, and people I think do know the history of how good he is. And you mentioned he's in great shape. I think they've done a good job, and correct me if I'm wrong, but and this sounds weird, but we've only seen him in the suit and tie. Like, I don't think at any point, and I think they've done that for a very good reason, because I think Minnesota and the crowd and the people watching at home, when he comes out in wrestling attire, they're going to go, oh crap, like, Nick Aldis is put together. Like he's in the best shape of his life probably. So I'm intrigued by that. But Bully, and you mentioned you're intrigued by I also say and look at this. Well, there's no way Gunther's going to lose. They're not going to have a GM that is coming back to wrestling for the first time in 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be, lose to a guy that just retired John Cena, just retired AJ Styles. Like this, while it's a cool matchup, intriguing wise, I know who wins, right?
I'd like to think so. I mean, I was bummed when this was the initial route for Gunther at SummerSlam. To me, it's not about Nick Aldis. It's more of an indictment on the creative. Like, I like where this has felt organic. Like Gunther's like, you're jealous of me. You never could be me. You can't be me. And Aldis finally snaps. And they're going to, I'm telling you, like, I hope they get at least 15 minutes, maybe more. Give me 20 minutes with these two guys, because I really think, like, the crowd obviously hates Gunther, and I think once they see the presentation of Nick Aldis, and I think once they see that Nick Aldis can wrestle, and he's really good, and he's smooth, and he's going to look good doing it, and then he's not going to back down from Gunther, like, I think you're going to get, like this once-in-a-lifetime baby face behind, you know, everybody's going to be behind all this just for Gunther to take it away. I thought the same thing when he worked with Pat McAfee. Oh, geez, he's working with a commentator, but, like, at the same time, it was still awesome to watch him beat the crap out of Pat McAfee. So I think all this is going to totally turn this on its side, and this will, you know, like, be Gunther's biggest challenge to somebody, you know, to him in recent, since Cena probably.
Yeah.
Does Aldis go back to his position after the match?
See, that's a great question, because I don't know how WWE is treating this internally. Is this like a tryout stage?
Right.
If you go out and do good out here, you can work.
Correct. Like, he's no longer the GM, and they never said you're going right back to it.
He relinquished it. He had relinquished the role to have this match. So, me personally, I hope it works out for him. I mean, this guy could go out there and have matches with Drew McIntyre, with Damian Priest. I'm talking about just if you kept him on the SmackDown roster. With Punk, with Cody. He's wrestled Cody in the past. Fans, if you want to go up and, you know, look it up, they've wrestled for the NWA title in the past. So this isn't just some schlub that hasn't wrestled in 25 years getting one more crack at it. This guy can wrestle, and I'm excited to see, like, how good this match can be.
Yeah, there was a podcast that had him on. I don't know which one it was, and he got emotional. He broke down for a minute or two talking about the opportunity this is. So I don't think he put all his eggs in this basket just to have a one-off with Gunther and most likely lose. You know what I mean? I don't think it was like, yeah, I'd love to make some money and lose to Gunther at WrestleMania and then go off in the sunset. I hope that he has more planned for that as well. Let's quickly look at the card for night one, and we're going to give us your picks for night one, then we'll get into night two a little more. All right, we're going to go rapid fire back and forth. Bully, let's start with the women's six-man. Who do you got in the women's six-man?
I will take the team of... I'm running for Fatal Influence. I'm going for Fatal Influence. They got the worst, cheesiest music in wrestling, and I love it. I'm going for Fatal Influence.
Don, what do you got with this one?
I don't think with Nikki's kind of return, I don't see them losing. I think Nikki, Bree, and Paige retain.
Yeah, I will not retain because they don't have the belt. It's
Or,
not for
well,
the belts,
or
yeah,
win.
but they win.
Sorry.
Yeah, I got you.
Yes,
it went right.
Usos and Fatu versus the trio of LA Knight, Keys, and Solo Sikoa. Donnie, go you first.
I think the Bloodline wins. I think there's going to be some intrigue and drama where there's a lot of story around the Bloodline. I expect them to win and keep this story going in different ways, rivalries, but I think they win.
Bully.
Bloodline wins. Calling it now. LA Knight wins Money in the Bank in October.
Oh, wow. I also I'm intrigued. I think the Bloodline wins, but I'm intrigued by Solo as a good guy. I enjoy him on the mic. I think what he's doing right now is pretty good. Let's go with Liv and Io. I'm not even that intrigued or excited about it. I'm sure they'll put on a good match. Bully, who you got winning that one?
I think Io's going to win. I hate that we got this match on the last month's pay-per-view as well. But I think stuff's going to kind of boil over with the Judgment Day. I think Io walks out as champ.
Donnie, give me the Liv and Io.
I think Morgan wins. I think, Sky defeated her at Night of Champions. I think Morgan's going to retain this until Vakura returns, and they're going to have at it at WrestleMania.
Gunther and Aldis. We talked about it a little bit. I think Gunther has to win it quickly. Bully, Gunther or Aldis?
Gunther wins the match. Aldis wins the crowd.
Donnie.
Agreed. Yeah, spot on. I mean, there's no way Gunther's going to lose this match, but it's going to be good.
Hell in the Cell. Brock and Oba. Bull or Don, who wins?
It's got to be Femi. I think whether we get some type of turn, I think this is the goodbye for Brock in his home state and town.
Bully.
Oba Femi, and I hope it's a bloody affair.
The more the blood, the better. The main event, which almost isn't talked about as much as some of the other matches. When it comes to Cody and Punk, Bull, we'll start with you. Who wins?
Punk retains. Cody starts the unraveling.
Don.
Agreed. I think it's too early to take the belt off Punk, but there's going to be some storylines coming out of there where Cody's just how he deals with this is going to move storylines going forward.
So that is night one. We still have night two to talk about, and we'll go through that pretty quickly as well. You look at night two, I want to do the same thing, guys. Obviously, there's that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins matchup, of course. And I would tell you guys both this. These are my two favorite wrestlers. Like, hands down, I'm a Roman guy. I'm a Seth Rollins guy with him being from the Quad Cities. You have the other matches on. You have the 5-woman. Is it a ladder match? Is it a ladder match?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, so I do like that. You got Finn versus Sammy. You got Danhausen versus Dominic. You have Penta and Gable we talked about, and Trick versus Baron Corbin. What's the best match on the card, Don?
It's got to be Punk and Roman, and then maybe I'm a little partial. Though I will say this. Or Seth and Roman, yeah, I'm sorry. Though I do think, when you put Finn and Sammy in there, two phenomenal wrestlers, that may be the best wrestling match of the night, but you can't sleep on Gable and Trick either.
Yeah. Bull, what's the best match?
Best match, I think, is going to be Penta and Gable. If we're talking in-ring, if it's not that, I think it's going to be Finn and Sammy. I'm a big Finn Balor guy. Like, I think it's time to strap a rocket to him and make him the man. He's been around long enough. Like, time to give him that Sami Zayn push. But those two, outside of obviously the main event, but like I'm really looking forward to those two.
When it comes to, and you guys both mentioned kind of the intriguing matches. If we walk away, we're going to be walking away talking about Roman and Seth, obviously probably at the end of the night. Which match steals the show? We kind of talked about it a little bit, but if you're when we get done on Sunday night, are we going to be talking about which match that kind of stole the show? Bully, we'll go you.
I think we'll be talking about Penta and Gable. I think we're obviously Reigns Rollins, whatever happens in that match, and obviously afterwards, after the show, that's going to be obviously talked about. But I think Penta and Gable. This is one of the, like I said with Gunther and all this. Give these guys 15 to 20 minutes and let them go out there and just do their thing. These guys can both go. Gable is, like on the redemption tour after, unmasking his El Grande Americano, probably the match of the year. And he has an opportunity to go out there and put on another match of the year with a guy in Penta. And I think he can. I mean, Ludwig Kaiser, don't get me wrong, is a very good wrestler, but I think Penta is a few levels above him. And gosh, I think I'm excited for Gable and Penta. I think that's the one.
I think, and like where Gable's going, being in his hometown and being able to have another amazing match, I think it's really intriguing to me. And Don claims I'm not a wrestling guy; I'm a storytelling guy. Wrestling wise, I think this is a fantastic. Hey, Don, I got to ask you. You see Danhausen versus Dominic, and I go back a couple months ago. They've been talking about it on social media. I mean, Dominic was as hot could be, and he's really cooled off, which is not, I think, at his fault. I don't think it's his fault. I just don't love what they've done with it. And now he is at SummerSlam against Danhausen, who I think I read is 17-0. When Danhausen debuted, I was like, I don't like this. Then I enjoyed it, and I get it for what it is, and I think it's funny. My kids love it, but I also get worried about we're doing a lot of it. He's Saturday Night's Main Event. He's on Raw. He's the Mini-Hausens. Now it's this. Are we overdoing Danhausen when it comes? Obviously, he's got to be part of SummerSlam. But how do you play get the most you can out of that without having it go away and being overdone and quickly being over?
Not having a musical event on Monday Night Raw would have been good, because that may have been the worst gimmick thing that they've done in a long, long time. I like that. It's fun. It's great. But that one just kind of made me. I wanted to fast forward through it. It was ridiculous. Do I think the match will have a lot of shenanigans and fun? Yeah, it'll be great. I think Danhausen probably wins, which is kind of a shame, because months ago we were looking at, Dom was as hot as anybody. And now it's like he's just sitting down there. And now maybe they'll pump that back up after this Danhausen thing. But I just, like you said, I don't want to be force-fed something. And I feel like we've kind of been force-fed a little too much. But they'll have a fun match. It'll be the nice one-off where we can kind of take a break and have a good laugh.
Bully, give me your thoughts. And is it weird that Dominic is probably in a gimmick match at SummerSlam with Danhausen?
I'm bummed for Dominic, to be honest with you. I'm happy he's on the card. But, Don kind of touched on, he had nuclear heat.
Yeah.
And really with no fault of his own, it's kind of gone away. And maybe that's kind of due to the unraveling of the Judgment Day, where he's not, doesn't have Liv at his side at all times. I don't know. But, the Danhausen segment with Joe Hendry the other night and the Danhausen debut, WWE fumbled big time. Everything else they've handled really well, little bit here, little bit there, I think goes a long way. I mean, there's spots for comedy in wrestling, don't get me wrong, but the over the top, come on, we're having a clone generator. I don't know all this, but it's got its spot. I just wish Dom was involved in some kind of feud that mattered instead of fake money on a pole match or whatever. But like Don said, we're going to get a laugh out of it. There's going to be shenanigans. It will be entertaining. I'm crapping all over it now, but I guarantee you when it's going on, I'll be laughing.
And the thing is, and I know that this is important for the TKO, but I got a 9-year-old and 11-year-old that when Danhausen comes on, everything stops. And that's the biggest thing going on, and they love it. So I know that's part of what they want to do and what they want. People spending money, moms and dads and kids spend a ton of money as well. Let's look at this card and rapid fire go through it. We'll start with Penta versus Gable. Obviously, Bully, you've talked a ton about this match. I agree with you. I think it's going to be fantastic. Is it the crowning moment and a singles title finally for Gable in his hometown?
It is, and I'm going to be excited to be there to witness it. I do like Gable. I've liked him for several years. I just love the fact that he's like a legit badass and with the amateur background can go in there and throw anybody around. So I think this is it. I think he finally gets his fills out his redemption tour and gets his crowning moment in his hometown.
Donnie, agree, disagree? Is it his first championship?
Agree.
Singles?
Yep, agree. It's the writing's on the wall. It's the right time. It's the right moment. It's his first title. Let's do it.
Should be a cool moment. Trick and Baron Corbin. I always appreciated Baron Corbin. Didn't hate him. Appreciated him. Didn't love him, but I think appreciate's the best word. Trick is white hot. I think he's still white hot. Don, you like Trick here to retain?
I actually don't. I think you're not going to have Baron come back and lose his first match. It's counterproductive. Trick can re-win that back. And I don't think Trick loses any of that steam losing that match and then solidifies Baron as a... I mean, we all know Baron Corbin is he's a very good wrestler and probably got, whether it be a product of story writing, whatever. I always liked when Baron Corbin was on. And so I think it'll be a great match. And I think he comes away with a title with a lot of heat.
Carmelo Hayes is not involved in this match right now, which I think is disappointing. I don't know if he does get involved. I don't know if Trick can somehow, maybe he costs Trick, Baron Corbin wins. And also, I don't know how much are they ready to move Trick on a little more and maybe have him go for something more than the U.S. title and make him part of a main event picture. I'm intrigued by. Bully, where does this match stand?
Don makes a great point about Baron returning and not winning. I think Trick is going to retain. Baron Corbin, this is kind of a unique situation, is still under contract with MLW, Major League Wrestling, and has like dates to fulfill out with them, but is still doing stuff for WWE. I think that's kind of cool as a wrestling fan. That's kind of cool. You don't see a guy in two different places at the same time in current day, but still under contract. But I think Trick will retain. I'm bummed like guys like Carmelo Hayes aren't involved here. Hey, Ilya Dragunov, get him on TV. Get him in a feud. He's one of the best talents they're not even using. No offense to Baron Corbin, but I would rather have like a Mello or an Ilya Dragunov here. I still think it's a good match, but I think Trick's going to retain.
Danhausen and we'll go a little more rapid fire until the main event. But Danhausen versus Dominic. What do you got, Bully?
I think Danhausen wins, unfortunately.
Wow. Does Danhausen go to 18-0, Don?
Got the streak going. Yes, I think he wins. He's got human monies on the line.
I'm rooting.
I would be a bigger fan of the Danhausen streak than the Goldberg streak.
Yeah, I would be too.
That's true.
I would.
There
be
you
too.
go.
Give me Dominic just for the sake of please. Finn versus Sammy. I know you love both, Bully. What do you got here?
I think Finn's going to win, and Sammy kind of spirals more out of control. I think it'll kind of be an intriguing thing, like Sammy and Cody both kind of like being miserable together on SmackDown and backstage segments. But I think Finn is your winner here.
I think Finn has a push coming. Do you agree, Don?
Yeah, I think I think the time is for Finn to reemerge. There's some good storylines they can do. Him and Cody were former Bullet Club members together. That's something you can tie in. Maybe he rekindles a rivalry with CM Punk. Plenty of good things you can do with him winning, and let Sammy be Sammy, which
Don,
he's always interested.
Bully, give me a winner of this 5-woman. Hopefully it's entertaining. It's a ladder match. Give me a winner of, and we don't know till tonight. I think the fifth person. You want to go mystery?
In a perfect world,
Charlotte?
In a perfect world, I would love Chelsea Green to win it, where like the belt just falls in her hands after like 3 people fight over it, and the belt falls in her hands.
Awesome.
I would love that, but I think Jade Cargill has to win this.
All right, Donnie, what do you got?
I think Flair wins number 15. How about that?
Yeah, but is it 15 if it's a stupid interim? I agree, by the way, Bully. I don't know why we decide to do an interim when you take it off of people when they get hurt. Like Seth Rollins, there was never an interim championship when Seth was hurt. Seth gave up the championship.
You forfeit it.
Yeah, it's weird that it's just an interim one right away. But all right, I get a little. All right, last match, and we haven't talked enough about it. Reigns versus Rollins. Man, these are both my dudes. I'll say right now, I think Roman still wins. One of my sons thinks that Seth wins because he thinks that Roman goes away a little bit more. They did announce recently, like, Roman's next appearances, and he's like every other week through the rest of the summer in September. So it doesn't seem like he's going away anytime soon because that's what he is right now. Bully, who wins the main event, and does something cool happen at the end?
I think Roman Reigns wins the main event. I'm interested to see if there are shenanigans with him and Rollins involved. I kind of hope there's not. I just hope it's just a one-on-one match. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a big stare down afterwards or a confrontation between Oba and Reigns.
Ooh, Donnie.
I think Roman has to exercise the demons. He's never beaten Seth. I mean, him losing would make no sense. Seth can always manage around that loss. Roman's mystique right now is the bloodline leader, and has if he would lose, then there comes doubt. So I can't see him losing.
Yeah, I mean Roman wins. Real quick, didn't we go to a Rumble in St. Louis where Roman Reigns beat Seth Rollins?
I'd have to look back, but I didn't think he'd ever beat him in a one-on-one.
I thought they
match.
had a one-on-one and Roman won.
Rollins, during Roman Reigns' long Tribal Chief 3-year-plus run, I think Rollins beat him in a DQ. He never beat him. Beat him head to head.
You don't think Roman's beat him? Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. And WrestleMania was a good example, and there's been other events that you keep waiting for the shenanigans to continue. Maybe more of what Roman did the first time around with winning in weird ways and interesting ways. And since he's got it back, and even at we waited for SummerSlam. Or I would say Fatu versus Roman Reigns was a tribal rules or whatever you call it. And everyone's like, okay, well, it's just going to be a free-for-all, and everybody's going to get involved. Nobody got involved. And I think this is part of it too. I don't think anybody gets involved during the main event itself. Now, like Bully said, something afterwards I'd love to get me not that I'm not watching Raw from Des Moines on Monday, but give me something. I would love to see that as well. I do think it's going to be a really good match. I do think Roman wins, but I'd love something after the match to get me excited about what's next, because I don't know what's next exactly for Roman. Obviously, Oba's in the future, but that's got to be WrestleMania, doesn't it? That's got to be WrestleMania next year, and there's a ways to go before we get there. We're not doing Oba and Roman till then. So we got SummerSlam and all of these Money in the Banks and Royal Rumbles. We got a lot of places to go before we get to that. So maybe a stare down, but I'm curious what's next. Bully, card subject has changed. I know you're loving that, doing a great job with that. Make sure you enjoy SummerSlam up there as well. Don, you're going to Minnesota this weekend. You're just not going to SummerSlam, I don't think, but we'll talk after the weekend.
Little travel plans are heading out of state, but I'll be watching. Yeah, I'm excited.
Gentlemen, always appreciate you guys' insight. Enjoy SummerSlam. We'll catch up again soon.
Thanks, Matt.
See you guys. That is Don Umland and Nick Bull from Card Subject to Change, talking wrestling here on a Friday. SummerSlam right around the corner. We will wrap up a Friday edition of OTA right after this. We'll be right back. For over 65 years, Linquist Ford has proudly served the Quad Cities, and they're just getting started. Looking for a new ride? Check out a healthy mix of new and quality pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Need service? Skip the waiting room. With free pickup and delivery and mobile service, they come to you. No delays, no hassle. From routine maintenance to a full-service collision repair shop, it's fast, friendly, reliable, and always transparent. Linquist Ford, serving the Quad Cities since 1959. Experience the difference today.
Hey, I'm the Crawford guy.
Ooh, do you guys always speak at the same time?
Sorry, guys. I'll go first. If you need help with your heating or air conditioning, or electrical, or plumbing, Crawford Company can solve your problem.
But what about your problem?
What problem?
Do you not hear yourselves? Take it from me, the Crawford lady.
And me, the Crawford guy.
Crawford is the comfort company.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. A rainy, stormy Friday here in the Quad Cities and wherever you may be. Hopefully it's a little nicer as you watch the show, but a lot of rain here on a Friday makes for a rainy afternoon and a way to catch up with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I remind you, if you missed any of today's show, go check it back out. Also, it's been a great week. 5 fun shows, nearly 10 hours of content. Go watch, listen, all of those kind of things over the weekend. Hopefully everyone has a great weekend as well. I want to thank our guest today, Sammy Schaub from Rockridge, joining us to kind of give a little update on Drew Hall. Again, if you missed that information, that story, go back and check it out. Drew injuring himself, a junior at Rockridge High School, in a swimming accident last week, spinal injury, recovering in Des Moines right now. And the community is coming out in support, as always, as you would expect. So if you can help out and support, if anything, thoughts and prayers, obviously, to Drew Hawk and his family as well. Also, we want to thank Luke Barnwell. First and foremost, how about that for the technology assist? Couldn't get it going on his computer. He used his phone, and we had a great conversation with him talking about last year, and then a ton of information about the summer, and obviously how players are growing and developing over the summer as well. So a fun chat with Luke Barnwell as well. You can check that out. If you missed it, go check it out. And then non-wrestling fans, I know you didn't like it. I got a few messages of wrestling's stupid. Don't watch. But we did do a SummerSlam preview, a bunch of fun. Don Umland, Nick Bull from Card Subject to Change, joining us on the show to talk SummerSlam. Bully's heading up to SummerSlam, of course. We'll be watching at the Randazzo house this weekend as well. So if you love wrestling, enjoy SummerSlam. If you don't, enjoy your weekend. Have a great weekend. Coming up next week, a busy week. Luca Garza on Tuesday here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I'm hoping to track down Scott Docterman as well. He was a busy guy in Chicago for the Big Ten Media Days this week as well. So that and much, much more. We'll also start our high school football previews next week as well. Hopefully a coach from each side of the river every single day. That's the goal. That's the plan. Man, football season is officially here. So thank you so much for watching OTA today. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching this week. And also starting on Monday, excited to welcome a new sponsor to our family of sponsors here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So thank you to them. And of course, as always, thank you for watching OTA. We'll see you back here on Monday.